When Nick Saban took over 17 years ago as the head football coach of this University of Alabama football program, he was 55 years old. Kalen DeBoer is 49 years old, and today agreeing to become Alabama's next head football coach, according to ESPN's Chris Lowe. Well, you know, I spoke to Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide, yesterday, Rosie, and he said he had full confidence and faith in the hire that Greg Byrne was going to make. Hey, Mark, if you closed your eyes and you just listened to Jared Parker speak, you might have thought you were listening to John Sumrall talk. So much of what Jared Parker had to say today mirrored and sounded just like the vision that John Sumrall had for this program. But a lot of these fans are a little bit unsure and uneasy right now, but the more as you hear that they read and the more that they learn about DeBoer and what he can accomplish, the more confident they feel in this choice from Greg Byrne. Now, both Arkansas State and Northern Illinois each looking for a 7-win season. Arkansas State hasn't won that many games since they won 8 games back in 2019. And, well, Northern Illinois, Rosie, won 9 games just 2 years ago. It's a little bit too big for my head, but I'll put it on anyways. A little too big for me. I've got a little bit of a small noggin. Yeah, Jared Parker was very emotional when he was introduced today as Troy's newest head football coach, the 24th in program history. Now, Parker did serve as an interim head coach, but that was 7 years ago, and that was a completely different experience, and he didn't get the big blow up like he got today. It's 7 o'clock, Rosie. They're playing for the golden cleats. I've got the cleats right here that Billings has held on to for the last 7 years. We'll see if that changes sides here tonight. Last question for you, Coach. Halloween's coming up. You got a Halloween candy, either top 3 or a favorite Halloween candy you got?
Just trying to be myself, but I definitely hear people say that he wore 24 in the minors with the Braves.
I think that we've had a matchup quite like this all season long when we talk about our favorite games of the week. 2 undefeated teams. We know what's on the line tonight. The winner will not only win the region, but they get that #1 seed going into the playoffs, and that means that they get home field advantage, right? Huge. And everybody wants home field advantage.
You are, and what's happening?
Yeah, Mark, as you can tell, I'm just running outside the Knights helmet here on the campus of Montgomery Catholic. We've got quite the showdown for you guys tonight, Montgomery Academy and these Catholic Knights. Yeah, speaking of taking out the garbage, this Alabama football team still trying to get that taste of losing the national championship game to Georgia out of its mouth. Of course, losing a national championship game, nothing normal about that in Tuscaloosa. But that game, the reason like players like senior defensive back Jordan Battle coming back to Tuscaloosa.
You give me Michael Myers, let me have him at left tackle, and I'll be all right.
You got a Michael Myers or a couple out there on your field yourself, but I understand completely the demonic movies. Stay away from me, Rosie. I don't know about you, but I'm with Coach Pouncey on that one. I do not want no satanic. It's baking weekend out at Riverwalk Stadium. The Biscuits trying to bake up a 4th win in 6 games against the Braves in Montgomery. Good evening. If you're just joining us, this is the talk of the day around these parts. Brian Harsin fired after just 21 games as the head coach of the Auburn Tigers football. Freshman Gio Lopez will get the start for the Jaguars, and that's pivotal because this Troy defense has been on fire as of late, okay? They hold teams below their median average of whether it's points, whether it's yards, whether it's completions, whatever it is, you name it, they do it, okay? Dating back to the Georgia State game, 7 straight times a team has been in the red zone. They've come out with no touchdowns scored. That's huge. Yeah. You're talking about giving up 3 points versus 7 points. That matters towards the end. We talk about this defense. They just keep constricting and constricting and constricting like a boa constrictor until there's no life left in you. And not only do they keep you off the board, but they make you turn the ball over. Yeah. Dating back to 2016, this Trojans defense leads the country in turnovers forced with 183 of them. And this year, they're averaging making a team turn the ball over 29% of the time that they have the ball. That's 3 out of every 10 possessions during a football game that you're turning the ball over. And in the last 5 games, 13 turnovers versus just 2 in the first 3 games this year.
Impressive stat.
The speculation coming into the season and this current 6-game stretch where Auburn's only won 1 game. I don't think it was really ever a matter of if Brian Harsin was going to be fired, just when. So my question to you now, Rosie, is why now? Rosie, Greg Byrne saying he knew he had the perfect replacement for Nick Saban when he spoke with Kalen DeBoer. That was shortly after Saban announced his retirement on Wednesday. 49 hours later, Byrne able to bring his guy to Tuscaloosa from the Pacific Northwest, and he brings with him a winning record and a winning attitude. In case you guys didn't know, Coach Parker has several ties with former Troy head coaches Neil Brown and John Summerall. And my first question for you, Coach Parker, is the conversation that you had with those two men. I mean, they spoke very highly of you. What's that relationship like with them, and what's it like to have them vouch for you in such a way? This is Jahmal Kennedy standing by with Paul Feinbaum of ESPN and SEC Network. Paul, wrapping up SEC Media Days here, but obviously Alabama and Auburn, the big talkers for us from our area. Obviously the quarterback battle is something that Alabama's looking at, but other than that, what could be another challenge that this team is looking to solve for this year? 4 teams remain in the SEC men's basketball tournament, and you can count Alabama among them. The Crimson Tide advancing to the semifinals with a resounding 23-point win over Mississippi State in a game that was fueled by offense, but the Tide players saying after the game that it was their defense that really got them going. Celebrating behind me in victory lane right now, Rosie, is Kyle Busch. Busch and the number 8 car for the second time in his career, the winner of the Geico 500 at Talladega, and doing it in overtime after a late Bubba Wallace crash. Hey Rosie, yeah, here out at Alabama Pro Day where all 32 NFL teams were present, including some head coaches. Of course, all eyes on Evan Neal, the offensive tackle who's projected to go in the top 5 of the NFL draft. And head coach Nick Saban and a bunch of his teammates had a lot to say about Mr. Neal. Atlanta Braves top prospect Michael Harris II lives and breathes the game of baseball.
I started at 3. Ever since then, I never stopped.
Drafted in the 3rd round of the 2019 MLB draft out of Stockbridge High School, it's taken Harris just 3 years to top the Braves prospect list.
I noticed it, but then I was like, I finally got that top spot. I've been wanting that for a minute. I've been feeling like I was a person that could get there since I was drafted. I worked hard to get there.
The top prospect, an outfielder in AA wearing 24, looks eerily similar to Braves fans. It's the same number Ronald Acuna Jr. wore during his time in Mississippi.
I'm just trying to be myself, but I definitely hear people say that he wore 24 in the minors with the Braves and center fielder, and he was a top prospect. So, I mean, I just try to go out and be myself and do what I can do.
Growing up in Stockbridge, a suburb of Atlanta, Harris grew up during the heyday of the Braves, and as a left-handed outfielder, patterned his game after another Braves lefty who also grew up a top prospect just outside of Atlanta.
Jason Hayward is like from the same area I live in now. He went to a high school that's like 15 minutes from there, so he's from that area. I really modeled myself after him, and it was good to see him come up through the Braves organization as well, and I'm just trying to do the same thing he did.
What do you think young Michael's reaction would be to watching you now?
I think he would just say it's a dream come true. Just keep working hard, and obviously if you dream and you stick to your plan and you work hard enough, you can make it to where you want to be.
Reporting in Montgomery for WSFA 12 Sports, I'm Jahmal Kennedy.
It's the end of a great legacy.
For the final time Thursday, the Lanier High School Marching Band put its stamp on a halftime performance. With the school set to merge with Carver Montgomery next year, the Marching Poets will be no more, bringing about the end of a 101-year existence. Band director J.D. Gibson calls it heartbreaking.
It's rough to see such a prominent school with a name that's been known for so long. Our band program, our football program has been known statewide, and to see it about to close is actually heartbreaking.
For students like Wanaya Givens, Akila Purnell, not only is this reality heartbreaking, it brings about an abrupt end in marching band that they love so much.
Band I've been in since my 9th grade year. I enjoy it, and I feel like we should get an extra year because like we build a great program with the band. I'm gonna miss it a lot, like very much, because this is something that I love to do.
Band is like my escape route from reality because it helped me motivate, distract myself from other things that's going on.
To sophomore Kenesha Bryant, the approaching merger with Carver Montgomery spells an end to a generation of Lanier graduates.
My whole family went to Lanier. I wanted to graduate as a poet too.
Tears may be shed later on down the line, but for now, these marching poets will cling closely to some of their most fond memories as members of the Sydney Lanier Marching Band.
My favorite memory is Westside Classic, how it's a big game of the city and everybody come out and watch you.
This is my 21st year as a band director, and this is one of the more special groups that I've had.
I just feel like a movie, honestly.
In his rookie season, Park Crossing alum Cam Taylor-Britt is cementing himself on this Cincinnati Bengals defense.
I feel like my preparation is a lot better than yours, and I'm coming here to stop you, and that's how I feel about it.
Taylor-Britt's debut in the Bengals' 2023 film delayed. Britt missing training camp after undergoing core muscle surgery, landing him on the NFL's injured reserve list. His parents, Courtney and Daryl, with them on each part of the journey.
I think he was even a little hesitant, like, am I going to get cut? I just got injured.
Be a great teammate, even though you're not playing at the moment. Just keep the energy up and be you. You know, just learn the playbook, stay in the playbook.
Taylor-Britt's debut coming in Cincinnati, Week 7 against the Falcons.
I remember that phone call, though, because he texted us. He was like, I got to tell you something. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Right.
And it was, he called and he goes, I'm starting this weekend. And we were like,
Very excited.
Ecstatic.
Very excited.
It's still surreal.
In 10 regular season games, Taylor-Britt making an impact, registering 55 tackles and a forced fumble.
I just, feel like the reps, the more reps that you get, the more comfortable that you are. So, I've been getting reps, since the Falcons game. So, why wouldn't I be comfortable?
Improving every step of the way. He's passionate about it. It's important to him. He practices hard.
Last weekend in the AFC divisional round, the rookie bringing down his first career interception in the fourth quarter of the Bengals' 27-10 win over Buffalo.
This has been a great performance by the rookie.
A surreal moment for his parents to witness. The celebration, fitting.
Oh,
I think he was kind of, but I think at first he didn't know what he wanted to do, but that's him though. He's in the snow, he's gonna make snow angels.
That's something that, when you're a kid that you actually, dream about. That's something that you see on a movie.
Now, Courtney and Daryl Britt 1 win away from seeing their son go to the Super Bowl.
I have a lot of confidence in this team.
Oh yeah,
I do. I have a lot of confidence.
But I'm pretty sure if they do make it, I will be more so excited than anything. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Biggest problems I've had in my career is being on the injured list.
Montgomery Biscuits catcher Logan Driscoll makes no bones about it. The curveball in his career right now isn't coming from the opposing pitcher.
It started off kind of just with hamstring injuries, kind of like those soft tissue injuries.
While manageable injuries, there's one injury that as a catcher primarily, Driscoll can't block.
The one thing that's hard to prevent is concussions. I wear this mask, it's called the Force 3, and it has springs and it's spring loaded. But even last year, I still managed to get a concussion.
A call in the offseason connected Driscoll with the company loudly vouched for by now retired NFL linebacker Luke Kuechly. It's called Q-Collar, a device meant to prevent concussions by preventing blood return when a collision occurs.
It's a device that I wear around my neck.
Driscoll says so far, it's going well. Driscoll, hooked by the Q-Collar after taking his first foul ball off his mask.
I remember vividly the first one that I got, like a foul ball off the mask, first time wearing this, and I was so nervous going to bed because I didn't know how I was going to feel when I woke up. And I guess it was a true test of this because I woke up feeling just like myself, so it was great.
It's the feeling like himself off the diamond that really makes Driscoll feel at ease. After all, sports aren't everything.
You never know kind of down the line what sports are going to do to you in the long term. We've seen it in football with CTE. You'll get a concussion. You don't feel like yourself for a month. I want to be around baseball as long as I can and obviously have a family and support them.
Now, Driscoll wears the Q-Collar whether he's catching or playing in the field.
Catch number 19, Logan Driscoll.
Or digging into the batter's box. All in the name of staying on the field, chasing his dream of being a big leaguer.
Honestly, it's just something that I'm going to probably use the rest of my career.